Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lightshare. Yeah, it's me. I'm back, baby. I'm with Adrian and Dom. They dragged me out of the depths of hell just to do one extra
Oh.
episode. I was having a nice vacation. They didn't leave me alone. So they were laying too many truths out there. I had to come back to chill down the mood. And
To
how
lay
have you
down the
guys been,
hammer.
dudes?
We showed up and woke
Lay
him up.
down more truths.
Wake up, Andre.
Yeah.
What's going on?
All right.
The world is on fire, bro. What? Let me see. And now we're here.
It can't be. It was nice when I left. It was nice and cozy and everyone.
Bro, there's people who
How are
think they
you
can
guys?
make
Nice
it
and
in
humid.
3 months.
Yeah,
Really?
we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah, it's been a while, guys. How's life on
Yeah.
your end?
Been good,
It's good.
Teaching,
You know,
working.
whenever we say it's good,
etc.
shit is going down, you know? Like, I'm okay. Like, you know for a fact something's going on, you know? Like, there's always some challenge, always some pressure, some sort of resistance, friction. It's in the nature of growth anyway, so we're just dealing with it. And yeah, we wanted to make this episode in an attempt to display some mastery in the background from our friend Dom here. I think he's been in the industry for long enough to teach us a couple of tricks. I'm not sure how long you've been doing this
We'll
for,
see,
Dom,
we'll see.
but I think with maybe a year or two, it's enough for you to start like,
Yeah, probably 3 months.
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
3 months.
dude. It's crazy. I've been seeing some stuff from you, Dom. Like, seems like every time that we hide ourselves on each of our caves, you know, like we resurface. I look around and like, holy shit, dude, you guys leveled up already.
Right?
Like, what's going on?
Dude, we all leveled up since the last.
Yeah, I think
since our old work.
you're pretty good, man. Like, you should consider a
As,
career in
like
this.
your recent ships been crazy.
Oh, dude, you should see what's coming next, dude.
Can't
Let's
wait.
go.
Those will be cool. But yeah, it's been a busy year, I think, for all of us, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know for my end, yeah, we didn't do any like episode for, I don't know, 4 months. I think it's been the craziest 4 months ever in my life. A lot of things, art related and non-art related, happening. Life happens, you know, like in on a
Yeah.
good way, I think. I'm back on the jiu-jitsu train this week. That's been good.
Nice.
I left that for a while just so I could focus on the competition and stuff, which was also pretty cool. Turns out that like going on the stage and having people looking at you as if you were like a Greek god is not bad for ego. So that's
Some of
pretty
it's
cool.
Nice to be, admired. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a good, and you do like, the process is so I want to say painful, but it's just like your body's rejecting the whole process, so you need to like really quiet it down. That having that reward is pretty nice. And also, I'm not sure about you guys, right, but there's a lot of people that don't quite get the art stuff that we do, so the support in terms of how people react to art content, it's kind of like only artists like it, and then you end up in this little bubble where you have your little community. And because exercise is something that a lot of people get from like different industries and everything, the response for that kind of content is like huge. So even people that don't even like talk to you ever end up sending messages and stuff. I was quite surprised to notice that as well, but on a good way. And to be honest, I wish the art community was like that, you know. It was like every time that you post a story and you have a friend, look, I do this to my friends, you know, every time that I see someone posting stories, at least a quick reaction, a show of support, you know, a thumbs up, a like keep doing awesome or something. It's such a small action that we can take to push
Yeah.
that motivation of that person. And I feel like
I
We've been
mean,
failing at that
I feel
as a
like
community.
people do that, but they do it with people they can relate with. So, when you're going through something and you show it somehow, you share it with someone is going to not only appreciate it, but resonate with it because they're going through a similar path or something. You know for a fact they're going to respond the way you expect them to respond. And sometimes the feedback you get from them is not necessarily what you expected, but I'm saying this in a good way. Like it's actually good. Like, whoa, thank you for that, bro. Like I didn't see that one coming, and it's true. So thanks a lot for sharing that with me. And I don't know, like people find a way to resonate with each other depending on what they're going through. That's what I feel like. And every time you feel like your situation is somewhat unique or whatever, and you finally decide to kind of talk about it with someone, it turns out many other people are going through the same thing, right? You can't be the only one. So that's a nice feeling of relatability somehow, like, you too? Bro, thank you. Yeah, I thought I was going crazy with this. And then you somehow make those contacts and establish those tighter relationships with other people with similar mindsets. And I mean, this is very much it's so trivial at this point, because it's just how things are. That's how they happen. You naturally gravitate around people with a similar similar views, similar mindset, similar goals. When you start going to the gym, you're all into that kind of content. You can't stop meeting people who know more about this, about that, how to stretch, how to lift, how to do this, which kind of techniques. Same story with art, like which techniques, bro, like which brushes, which programs, which this, which that. And I can't believe I forgot to mention this in our last episode, because physical training, and I know we've said this many times before, but physical training is very, very illustrative for examples that are more intangible. And I don't think anyone would imagine someone to come to a bodybuilder and ask, hey, how can I get your physique in like 3 weeks? Tell me how.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
I need it. No.
Okay,
Like,
I
fail.
want someone. I want
hilarious.
someone to do that, but please record the reaction because I need that. Dude. Every time that I'm sad or a little bit down, I'll watch that video and I want to see the look on the guy's face when he gets asked this question.
Because I remember the paragraph was like, without fail. Like, it's a yes. Like, no matter what, I need to land this job in 3 months. Imagine that, but like,
Okay,
in this case, now.
I need some context here. Why the 3 months? Like, was that comment?
Yeah,
It was that Reddit post that we saw that just stuck out to us, and we're like, this is unrealistic.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And
I mean, there are some jobs that are very low skill that maybe take 3 months for you to learn.
yeah, but let's take into
Definitely
account
not the
that
AAA
these usually
or
come
big
from an innocent kind of perspective. Like, hey guys, I don't know how hard it is, like how long it takes. Is it possible to do it in 3 months? And then they kind of become very obsessed with that idea that, okay, now I really need to land this job in 3 months. The same way someone might end up believing that it's possible to get this physique, like this bodybuilder, in like 3 weeks. And it might always be related to some event they have in their life happening in like that time frame, and they need to get ready by then. So who knows what that guy was going through when he said, hey, I need to land the job in 3 months, otherwise I'm toast. Who knows? Maybe his parents told him something, maybe his friends, maybe it was a bet, maybe, I don't know. But he needed to land that job in 3 months. And we were like, bro, that's unlikely. Like it takes, first off, I don't even know where you are at right now. I don't know how good you are. I don't know what your skills are. I don't know what your experience is. But in my example that I just gave you now, Andre, like think of this skinny guy, walking up to a bodybuilder saying like, hey, how can I get your physique in 3 weeks, bro? Or even 3 months. It doesn't even matter, That guy's been training for years.
He's juicing up for years, dude. You just don't take like the same amount for like 3 months and get there.
Which needles do
No,
you
but
use?
yeah, pretty much. No, but you know what's funny? The even though like we play around with it, like the juicers and stuff, at that competition, I was against the guys that like used every steroid that you can imagine, and
Yeah.
there's a clear distinction between like the guys that does the work, that do the work, and also use some stuff, and the guys that just think that it's all about the what you put into your body, and like doesn't actually lift heavy weights. And what ends up happening is like a very mediocre physique that is also risking your health because you are like using extra gear. So in the art world, the equivalent to that I think would be the guy that like has no idea what the fundamentals are and is using every trick in the book. So he's using photos and 3D and all of that, but it's all like everything's so apparent that like he doesn't know what he's doing. That would be the proper equivalent in my head, where yeah, maybe you could like pretend to be a professional, and then in 3 months you have an art that kind of like it's on a thumbnail view, it looks similar to what you would expect, and then when you actually look at it, it has, I don't know, 10,000 mistakes and doesn't look like anything that would be useful. I see a lot of that with like people that do AI art as well. As soon as you hit them with like, oh, can you change this part of the design, like, and we're very specific about the design choices, it's like, how do I prompt that change? You know, like I don't know.
I mean,
how to...
I totally get the excitement, you know, like when you're suddenly in reach of this power to create an image with like a bunch of words, right? And even if I'm watering it down for those prompters out there, you know, like, he thinks it's that easy. You know, this Adrian guy doesn't even know how hard it is to actually get a good AI image done. You have to know which prompts to use. You got to know. Sure, you have to. But what Andre is saying is like, okay, you got the image done. Now the director wants you to. First off, I don't even know if that's a thing. Like, would you work with a director? Like, first off, a director would work with you because you use AI, and that's it? I don't think so. I think it's a very different thing when an artist that knows the fundamentals and everything uses AI to get some references or to get some quick idea generation thing going to use as a base or something. I don't know. Not like a final painting, obviously, but it's very different from someone who doesn't know anything at all about, like, never actually painted or draw anything. It's different, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's very different.
Yeah.
Which is like going back to the point of like the 3 month stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That's where it would show. Like when you are a beginner, and I for sure was like this, you don't even know where your mistakes are when you are making mistakes. So it's understandable that for a beginner, it's like, oh, it all looks the same. I like it looks good enough for me and stuff. But then the person who's like doing the hiring of that job, he will know for sure that like, okay, you either are prepared or not.
Yeah.
And yeah, and for our line of work, if you want to be a concept artist, right, there is so much more than just the, oh, it kind of looks pretty and has some nice colors and values to it, that it doesn't even make sense to like question it like that.
Yeah, you need to know like what specific purpose your work holds, because each company will have what you want to do. And if you can't figure that out, it's like, well, you're going to be lost for a while then.
I don't know what you guys
this
think.
industry does require you to know what you want to do. Kind of.
I don't know what you guys think about this supposed lack of work that's out there, because AI is taking all the jobs possible.
Well, okay, so I like the first half. I think the second half is bullshit. So like I do think that there is some lack of work.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is because of AI. Although, of course, you see some posts like, oh, AI prompter, whatever, you know, AI engineer, and so on. And companies will use that technology in one way or another. So to pretend that they won't. It's kind of like hiding your face on the sand. But what I think is happening is we had a pandemic, right? So people were locked down. The video game industry like blew up.
Yeah, it was
So
booming big
investments,
time.
yeah,
Lots of hires.
investments went pretty hard,
Yeah.
you know, at that age. So I think we were operating at a level that is above what the industry could sustain long term. And now we are just getting back to normal. So if we compare maybe to like, I don't know, 2019, we're still probably up. Look, I'm taking the numbers out of my ass, right? I don't know like if this is actual true. So
Mhm.
we should just like making people aware of that. But I feel like we'll still be on a high. It's just that compared to the pandemic inflated numbers, it is a down movement. But what happens in every industry, it tends to like get equilibrium, right? So I do think things will get back to normal. That might mean like that the industry will be more competitive. That might mean that it will be higher standards for hiring people. And we see like, I don't know if you guys kept up with gaming industry news, but some triple A's have been like a huge flop over the past.
We can talk.
I don't
We
know,
can talk
couple of
about that
months.
too if you want.
No, look, it's like what
I was
Concord was a
gladly-
huge flop.
Look, I was
Ubisoft,
gladly
it's like
chilling, you know,
basically
without knowing any
failing
of
hard
that.
as fuck.
All of a sudden, I hear about some
I think we know
AAA.
why. it's
Yeah,
such fun.
because
No, yeah. So, but look, it's a bunch of games. It's like it was the
Go
ones that I
woke, go
remember from the
broke.
top of my head. It's Concord. It's Ubisoft is having like a shitty time.
Yeah, this Assassin's Creed
That
game.
other game was called the Assassin's Creed games. There's a new game as
Yeah.
well that the art director just went
I
like
know.
full crazy on Twitter and apparently just shot the whole studio on the foot. Also, the Dragon Age, the most recent one, has
Oh,
been
yeah.
like getting a lot of negative reviews. So you see that, and you are an investor, and you nope the fuck out of that industry. You know, like
Yeah.
if not even the big studios can make it happen, like who will be able to? And it's where I think like if you're a beginner, this is a great position because indie studios will be on a high, and indie studios will not hire like the super expert that like charges 10 times the amount that you charge. They don't have the money to do that, and they need someone that will do like a ton of different things for them. So I try to look at it in a positive way because indie studios will probably be on a high for the like next few years. It's a safer investment, like it's low budget. If people invest on it, like they're not guaranteed a return, but because the risk is so low, like it's easier for them to do that investment.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
you guys see the cycle that the market usually goes through, right? Like there's always these fluctuations. So every time there's like a huge spike, it immediately follows like a correction and it levels out afterwards. But this new level out, you know, this new standard, let's say, might be a little higher than the previous step. So that's how the growth cycle happens, right? We see this in many other aspects of life as well. Like it's the natural cycle of growth. And the market is no different in that aspect, I would say. So yeah, of course, we've seen this huge demand and like you know, they were hiring big time a few years ago. And then 2023 or so, I think it was the year where the industry was kind of going down a little bit, lots of layoffs. And eventually, like you say, it's gonna come back, you know. And this whole AI phenomena, I feel like it's molding it into the next gen type of not only industry but also technology and stuff like that. You're seeing it more and more implemented into everything. Everyone is hopping on. I recently saw a video, I forgot now the name or the channel or anything, but it was basically a guy just talking about how AI is kind of like hype. And then by hyping something, you get eyes on it and attention. even if it's not really doing what you claim it to do, right? Because it turns out some of these, I think it was Sora or whatever the name was, you create videos and stuff and it looks so realistic. And it turns out they did it in a studio and stuff. They recorded it for real. And just to sell the idea that our product can do this. And they also mentioned Tesla, for instance, in the very beginning, self-driving cars. And they were not self-driven. But eventually they got to that point where they are self-driven. It only took them like, what, a few years? So the main point was that, yeah, you're selling it as something that it's not in the beginning, only for it to become that thing later on. So it's basically fake it till you make it, but in real case scenarios with big brands and stuff. So I really don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I do see AI being a huge part of this in the future for sure.
Well, I mean, it's a huge part of the present, right?
Yeah.
Like, I do think that our industry may even be one of the ones that is least affected. I've heard of like lawyers that like draft up contracts and that sort of thing. How much faster an AI can do that because it's text and how to. Of course, they still need to review it, but like how those jobs are getting affected as well. Writing scripts and all of that. Like you go on YouTube and half of the videos that appear if you search something are like an AI voice with a AI script and just like a bunch of what's it called, stock images being flashed. But a couple of points. Like the first one is that on the Tesla front, even what they achieved so far is not like the self-driving that is like the ideal, right? So it's still not quite there yet. It's maybe like good enough for some people, but also it has its risks and it does make mistakes sometimes. So if we want to rely on that 100%, like mistakes can't be a factor. But also what's like you compared AI to hype, and I remember looking at the coverage of CES, which is a technology industry fair that happens. I think maybe it was a few months ago already. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's like the middle of the year or something, and everything had the AI like name on it. Even stuff that wasn't even
It's
close
everywhere.
to using generative
It's in our
AI.
phones, in our computers.
Like, oh, buy this new phone because it's AI driven. Buy this new watch because
Cameras
it's AI driven.
have
Like,
it now.
it has nothing to do with AI. It's technology that people already had. They're just rebranding it as AI to sell it more. So like a quick example, photo optimization, right? Your phone already did that, I don't know, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. They were always having a post-processing on the photos. And now it's like, oh, AI post-processing, AI this and AI that. And we need to be able to like sniff out the bullshit and understand what AI as of currently actually means, which is just the generative stuff. As an example as well, like those, I don't remember when Adobe did this, but for a good amount of years already, you could do the like self-aware
Content
kind of
aware
extension to photo,
feeling.
content aware. Yeah. And now, like even that stuff is like AI content aware and whatever, but it's not.
The astronaut meme, like it always was.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, okay, how much of that is actually true? Because unless it's actually looking at the image and be able to like think and read the image for what it is, it's just like looking at pixels and their colors. So it's not technically the generative AI that is out there right now, which is like ChatGPT and those image generators and stuff. So
yeah,
I do think that the level of despair, that people have about AI might be even a bit like of an overreaction because of the amount of
because of the publicity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The marketing. Yep. Correct.
So
it's true.
I'm not saying that like it's not there, You just like learn what it actually is. If you think it's an enemy, you should at least learn about your enemy so you can fight it
Yeah,
better.
no, the thing is, like you said, it's been around for so many years. I think I might be making this up, but it maybe came out somewhere in the 2000s or maybe even earlier. But it's in some versions that it's so like you can't even notice there's anything related to AI in there, you know? Like we're mentioning this Photoshop thing that we've been having that for how long how long has it been out there, the content aware thing? I don't even remember. You know, 2010 maybe or even earlier, no idea. What I'm saying is that it's been there, but it's been like accentuated in 2018 because I remember trying out this NVIDIA canvas type of thing where you drew like in something that looked like Microsoft Paint, and then it creates like a tree.
Oh, Gauguin or
That was the
Gaugin?
next revision, I think, of it. Yeah, NVIDIA Gauguin or whatever the name is.
Yeah.
NVIDIA Canvas
But
and
you know what this is?
art.
This was like, oh, it's a little baby tiger, so it's cute because it can't do no harm. And then all
Right.
of the sudden, like, oh shit, it's an actual like 1,000-pound tiger. It can
That's
do some fucking damage.
Mutated creature thing.
that's an awesome example, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like people liked it because I was like, yeah, this will never replace us.
it's
Like,
cute.
yeah, it can do
It's
some cool.
fun.
Yeah, it's cute.
Yeah. But you know, later on, it ended up becoming more and more like Nvidia. I think has some of the best chunk of the market in terms of AI shares and stuff like that. Like in terms of business terms and all of that stuff. Nvidia is big, pretty big on AI. And because Nvidia is
Yeah.
big on AI and the other competitors are seeing like, oh shit, these guys were early on this. Like we might still be on time to jump on that bandwagon. And maybe in the near future is going to turn out it's a flop. You know, no one wants it. It's bullshit. We don't like it. I just want my normal images. You know, I want my phone to take normal pictures. I want my camera to take lens based pictures. I don't want any of this AI processing shit, inventing pixels in the middle. And who knows? Maybe if it's kind of like the natural law of the market. You know, if people don't want it,
Yeah.
you're not going to sell it.
Yeah, I think one thing that I saw, like I took a recent trip to Orlando to go to like Disney World and stuff. First of all, it was pretty fun going to the parks. It's actually first, it's nice to get out of your house and also to see some what I consider to be like real magic, because you see kids on those parks. Of course, like we are jaded adults, so like for us, it's okay. I look at someone on a costume, and all I can think of is like the sweaty dude that is underneath that. Like he's pretending to be happy, but he hates his life.
Yeah, you see
But
all the tears in
yeah,
reality.
for kids, like those things are actually real. And one thing that I noticed as well, there were a lot of people taking photos with those disposable cameras that like you still use. I
Yeah,
don't know
the
if
one
it's
use thing.
if you
It's usually for
yeah,
kids, right? So they don't break an expensive
but there were
camera.
like just regular people using those, because I think
It's
what they were doing
convenient.
was like, okay, I don't want to take out my phone
Yeah.
and like get lost in that thing again. So I will use an actual camera. And I feel it's the same thing for what AI is doing. It's making the value of some things just like worse. So handmade stuff, custom stuff, and like thing that
Oh
is
yeah.
actually
Isn't that what we've been saying? That's what we were saying, right? Like all of these years, all the three of us here on this channel, like we were saying, bro, there's gonna
yeah.
be a time where everything's gonna be AI and no one's gonna want it, and people will want something that's handmade, and that's gonna be very rare or uncommon,
You know,
therefore
when you
more
buy
valuable.
yeah, it's when
Yeah.
you buy something that is very rare and has a certificate of authenticity.
Yeah.
Like, what is that certificate? It's just a piece of paper that tells you uh, something about what you just bought. So
Mhm.
like you have, I don't know, you buy a gold ring, right? It has like, okay, this is actual gold, or you buy a diamond ring. This is an actual diamond. Here's like the specs of it, and in theory, if it was a like fake diamond, would you be able to notice? I really doubt it, because I really doubt that the regular person would be able to notice the
No,
difference.
you're not educated on it. You don't even have a trained eye to spot those differences anyway. So to
But
you, it's the
you
same.
do care about like, oh, this is a
But the
specialist
certificate,
opinion,
bro.
like
It's,
this,
look,
certificate
yeah.
is actually, and what is real, you know, why that other stone is like not as real or as good as this one,
Yeah.
right? Because you know that it's not a real fucking diamond, you know. So like, when you get the, I remember, I don't know who posted this, but there was a movie that was released recently that had on the credits like no AI was used on the making of this movie, and
It was
people were
Matrix,
going
right?
nuts.
Or no, wait.
I
No, not
don't
Matrix.
remember the name. I just saw the credits, so I don't even know the movie. I should like do my homework and actually watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fun because that will become more and more common, you know. People will want like real experiences. People will want, they will be like so surrounded by AI content that they will consume that as their junk food, you know.
Yeah.
But when they want like a nice, well prepared meal, you know, they don't buy that on like Hot Pockets and whatever microwave bullshit you can eat like on a Tuesday evening,
Of course,
you
yeah.
know. But they will want the like nice anniversary Saturday date with your wife, custom experience with a real chef, you know,
Yeah.
like someone that knows their stuff. I think that's the same thing, you know. And if we look at other industries, like, there's a parallel there.
You were saying something earlier that made me think about brands and how like original brands, and then there's like imitations of those brands, and people get the imitations because they're cheaper and they look almost the same. It's imperceptible sometimes, but then you see it in the quality of the materials. Maybe I'm not even going to get into the business shady deals underneath these things where, you know, they source their materials from some unethical sources and stuff like that. Like, I'm not even going to get there. I'm just going to say like there's the originals and the imitations, right? And people stick to the imitations because they're cheaper and almost no one can tell. But then you know it's not a real one. Like you, the owner of it, the owner of the imitation, you know it's not real, right? And some people seem to just simply not care. Yesterday, I went with my cousin to this marathon thing he ran. I didn't run the marathon, but I ran like trying to catch up with him at different segments of the race. So I ended up doing half the race on my own as well, like 20K or something. And at the very end, I'm looking at the finish line, waiting for him to cross it. And I see all of these people crossing the finish line. Some of them are sprinting. Some of them are just, running a little slower. But there's some people that I would see, and some of them were like not even in shape or anything. And they were running very slow, broken. And I'm seeing them and I'm like, man, these people are warriors, bro. Like, look at them. Like they don't look like they run or anything, yet they're still doing it. So later on, I told my cousin, like, bro, I saw some people at the finish line. And he's like, yeah, the thing is, you know, no disrespect or anything, but you never know. Because there's people, I'm being told here, like some people who wanted to run this race, bro, I think I'm going to cheat today. I'm going to cut corners because I need to make it home earlier. And my cousin was like, what? Like, so you pay for this race. You want to run a marathon. Like, it's like a badge of honor almost, right? Like, I ran a marathon, guys. So that would be the original in my example, right? The imitation would be the guy that cuts corners. And then I'm asking my cousin, how can they just walk around later and say they ran a marathon? And he's like, they don't care. It's just for social media. Look, this is me at the marathon finishing the race. And you're like, I know you cut corners. Yeah, but no one knows. So that's the thing.
The deal, right?
They don't care, right? And we do. Like when we care about something, we want to make it right. So if I want a real, I don't even know watch brands or anything like that, but like a Ferrari or a car or something, you know, I want a real one, not like a cheap Honda tuned up and like turned into a Ferrari on the outside, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not a Ferrari.
That's the thing, right? You were living a lie at that point, you know, and people don't realize the cost of that, because the cost is you don't believe in anything that you say, like yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because if I can just lie that easily, when the hell am I telling the truth? I would rather have look. So it's something that's actually very common. Like in my, I don't know about your guys' cities, but in my town here, people they value the cars that they drive quite a bit. So what ends up happening is people get cars that they can't really afford. So they can't afford like the cost of keeping it up or the cost of like
Yeah.
the payments and that sort of thing. They end up in debt without being able to pay a nice car that they drive. And I'm of the opinion that like, okay, I'd rather have like a cheap car that fits within my budget and that I keep it like nice and clean and it's like a simple thing, but it's well taken care of. And I know that okay, it's because of this not as flashy car that I have that I'm able to like live a peaceful life, that I know I'm not like outstretching myself or I'm not doing anything for the appearance of it.
I think
And if you judge me based on that, like that's your problem.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
allocating your resources, right? Like people have this different perception on their own priorities, I would say. So they prioritize this material object, which is an expensive car, when they, what's the name? They neglect the rest of things, right? Like they live in a
priority is
shitty
like your
place.
appearance.
Yeah, the rest of their lives is kind of falling apart, but they have this shiny gem, right? Which costs everything.
Unfortunately,
Look, if you are
people
a car
don't want to
guy,
live simply.
you know, like anyone on the super nice car because that's your hobby, and that I completely understand it. But if you do it
Sure.
for the clout or for how like you look
That's-
to other people,
Yeah, I think that's how we
it's
all
the same
mention it
deal.
for the cloud and
Yeah,
stuff.
it's the same deal as the marathon thing, right?
Yeah.
I look, I don't understand because when we do stuff, and I think that's common between the three of us, we don't do it because of what other people would think. Like the hardest battle is not the one that people will see, you know?
Yeah.
Like you are completing that marathon the right way because you would not be able to look at yourself in the mirror if you finish it, but you know that you cut some corners, right? Like I don't even want this medal because like I didn't deserve it. So why the hell would I keep it or take it? Or
Also,
to me it's the same deal of the like everyone gets a medal. Like nothing gets my like me more angry than like everyone gets a medal. What the fuck? You know what you just did? You just made medals like worthless.
Exactly.
That's what you just did.
So I put in the effort. I won. He didn't put in the effort, and he won too. Then I'm not putting in the effort anymore. And that's how you get a declining society and everything.
Not on
reminds
that
me-
competition, right?
So it just reminds me of America's border system.
Tell us about it,
Don't
Dom.
worry.
Right now.
The man himself is starting the work in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Apparently he will. So look, Dom. Quick question: how crazy is it over there after the elections? Because like from what I can hear from here, it's pretty crazy, dude. I heard of a studio. Look, okay, let me just start this by saying that I don't think that anyone should have like pet what's called politicians. You know, those guys don't give a fuck about you, and you shouldn't give a fuck about them. You'll still have to wake up Monday morning and work, no matter who's in office. So like, chill out, you know, calm down. But I've heard of some stories of people needing like psychological assistance because they were just going crazy right after the elections, and it's kind of nuts to me to imagine that someone is like having a freak out because of a dude got elected, and it's different from what you thought would happen. Like, I'm sorry, but how fragile are you that this is what will like bring you over the edge?
Yeah, I mean, people are unhinged sometimes. That's just the way people are in today's society.
I can see the tears on your eyes, dude.
No filter.
If you need to send us a message, you know, blink twice if we're being held hostage.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
You know,
We'll stir up something up if we say something else.
Look, I don't care like which affiliation you are from. You know, just try to understand that it's not that it doesn't matter, but half of your country like wanted that, so like, is it half of the people bad? One thing that I've been doing more often than not when we talk about politics, at least like with some friends and stuff like that, it's let's come to this point from a point of view of, I know that you are not a shitty person, and you know that I am not a shitty person. So like, because we disagree on this topic doesn't automatically make us like awful human beings, right?
You're my
And
But then
enemy
people
now.
will say like, "Oh, but your values don't align with mine, so your values are terrible compared to mine. So that makes you a terrible
oh,
person."
I don't even think
Apparently, that's what.
that's true, because
Yeah,
if you talk, unless you are the kind of people that you hide your own personality and you just agree with everything that someone says just because of their political affiliation, it's very unlikely that you will disagree with anyone else on every single point ever, right? Like, it's almost as if you are wearing a, I don't know, a sports team T-shirt, like a sports whatever, because you need to disagree with them because they are the opponent at that moment. But we need to stop looking at ourselves as the opponent. Like,
yeah.
we are all sharing this,
Bro,
the
we
space.
we
This
can
life.
extend this episode on that topic for so long, bringing it on with this
Yeah, I know.
duality thing where we're supposed to be
I know.
part of one team or the other team, and it's being extrapolated to everything else. Now it's
I'm on my team, dude. That's the team that I'm on.
We should
No.
all be on our own.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it starts with like, Captain America team versus Iron Man team, and that's just a movie, so it doesn't really have world repercussions, right? But then you get to like a football team against this other football team, and that leads to maybe some physical confrontations in real life. And then you expand that and you go to like whites versus blacks, or men versus women, or God knows which nation against which kind of nation. And it's kind of in the nature of this conflict all the time to divide you somehow, force you to choose a team. Which one are you with? And when you, Andre, say,
Yeah.
I'm with none of them, I'm by myself, I don't care. Like, I'm not like I don't care, but I'm like,
deals in absolutes.
I don't want to, I don't want to be a part of either of them because it's not my thing.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that Team A says that is pretty cool, and there are a couple of things that Team B says that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like, why do I need to jump on anyone's boat? I'm on my own island, and I
so you
take
don't
what's
care?
good from.
So you don't care about this, about that, and then they kind of exaggerate it somehow.
I don't care about the stupid fight.
No,
That's
but
the
they
thing,
carefully extract one specific thing you said and make a huge mountain out of it, right? And that's the typical strategy to
So
make an emotional
what they are
impact.
doing? They're cutting the corners. They're not running the full marathon.
Thank you for bringing
Like,
me
they're
back to
taking
that.
like they're running
There you
like,
go.
okay, so imagine that you as a person, you are the whole marathon, right? The only way that I get to know you is by going on course running the full marathon. If I run like 100 meters and I jump to the end, I don't
Yeah.
know half of the shit that happened to you. I don't know
Yeah.
who you are. I extracted like 1% of what you are, and I'm assuming that
We said that in
the
the last
other
episode.
99 is like the same thing as those 1%. And it's not like that.
We
That's
made
not
it
life,
visual with
you
the
know?
iceberg
Only
type of
seeing
thing.
the iceberg.
You see the tip, but
Yeah.
you never see what's underneath. And it's funny because there's a very interesting connection I see here. It's an odd connection, but it still applies with our industry, what we're into right now. Dom is painting. All the three of us are working and stuff, and we all sign NDAs with clients, and we can't talk about it for a long time. And that's something that I don't think at the beginning we were so aware of. And once we started to work, right? Because at the beginning, you're studying, you're painting some personal piece, and you immediately go to share it online for people to see. Look, guys, I'm doing this. This is what I'm up to. This is my latest piece. And
Fired.
with work, professionally, you can't do that anymore because you're not allowed to. You have to wait for permission, and it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, sometimes even more. And what you practice with this is this invisible muscle of self-control, impulse control, which is something that you see so many times depicted in the fields of discipline, self-confidence, blah, 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 right? All of that. And this circles back to the marathon thing. Can you run a marathon and not say anything about it? Can you run a marathon and just keep doing your thing until you run another marathon, and soon enough, you're a runner and that's what you do, and you don't need to wave a flag every time you finish a race because everyone knows. Whoever wants to know that you're about that, they can just see it. But it's very interesting how as soon as you pull off some, I don't know, something, let's say you want to run marathons, right? And you're starting with your 5K. Everyone will know that you ran a 5K because you can't shut up about it. The same way, as soon as you land some freelance gig or something, you immediately want to share it. Like, look at this thing I did, guys. Like, it's amazing. Look at it. So by practicing this, what do they call it, man? I can't find the word now, but like you just hold back.
Self-restraint.
Yeah, that's a good one too. You learn how to control that impulse to immediately let the world know. And by containing yourself, you learn to deal with tougher situations in the future where you wish you could talk about it. But you know that if you say it now, you're going to spoil it or something and things will go wrong. And it teaches you a lot of that discipline that I don't think it can be learned in any other way than practice and experience.
Yeah.
A word salad that I just did there, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I think people want to share stuff that they like feel proud of, but there's also a value to keeping stuff for yourself. I think that keeping the purity of some things, knowing that some things are not like for everyone to know or for everyone to share, or
that's it. Yeah.
You never
share. You never say anything. Oh, I do, but I do it with the people I know that care about what I'm about to say, right?
Or I do like for who it matters to.
Once you guys get like a really, really big following, you just want to go ghost completely. I mean, because you don't know who's watching.
That's what fame does.
I haven't been posting much on my profile. Like I'll post some art here and there, but like I don't.
It's because you are under such scrutiny, right? Like everything that you say, every single word will be like
people are watching.
As you,
And since I'm a teacher with like a lot of students, and people valuing what they see, then they're like, "Oh, if I say something that's against the grain, all of a sudden, I'm like burned at the stake or something." So I'm just,
Okay, Dom, I'll stop talking about anything that can hurt you. I'm sorry.
Let's get him fired, Andre.
No, look, here's the thing, right?
At this point in a few years, this industry might not be.
No, the thing is, I do think that if you are actually authentic, I'm not talking about you specifically, Dom. I'm talking like about anyone. We will start having like more diversity of opinion.
Yeah,
everywhere.
At this point, I'm like, I'm being authentic, and I don't really care as much as I used to.
And also,
but before I was just like,
you were also less experienced, right? So you were like, oh crap, I have like this huge following, and people are analyzing every single word. I never had to stop to think about what I'm saying, so now I have. So what the hell?
But I think the more authentic you become, the more people, even though they don't necessarily like what you have to say, they still respect you or not. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's like,
but if you're
not living for other people, right?
If you are losing the respect for me because we disagree on something, I understand that you don't want to follow my opinions or whatever, but I never unfollowed someone just because they disagree with me on something. Like if they are someone that is like, I don't know, a criminal or whatever, or they actually have some going to extremes, right? Maybe they beat their wife or whatever. Yeah, that's a reasonable reason to not follow them anymore, because they are actually like someone that has extremely different values.
Yeah.
But just because you say something that I don't quite like, I think it's useful to expose yourself to different opinions, just so you keep constantly challenging your own thoughts in a way that you're like, okay, I am like this right now, but there is the possibility that I'm wrong on a couple of things. So let's see what is out there. Let's keep ourselves critically thinking about our own opinions, you know?
It's funny how like certain people's lifestyles can trigger somebody. Like if people like are working out and like we're all into fitness, like people will demonize that, be like,
Oh, but I'll be
why are you trying to be
a
better?
Jack demon, dude. So I don't care.
We're shadow banned anyway, so at this point we might as well just...
No, look, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't hate people that have different hobbies, you know? I actually find it quite fascinating.
Yeah, but
I got...
not you specifically, but like other people who might feel insecure about like other people's certain lifestyles or like habits. They're like, he's...
Oh yeah,
I
suddenly
know you were not talking about it.
everybody becomes an expert, right? Which is also known as a couch expert. Like, you do it that way, bro, that's the wrong way to do it. Oh yeah, what do you know? How many times have you done this? Oh, I never done that, but I've seen it on some books and videos on YouTube. Oh, so you've never tried it even, right? And I'm out here in the arena. You're just on the side, what do they call those things? The seats, in the
bleachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the whole idea of you hating on someone because you don't like what they do for their own lives, like, it seems to me that you have too much time on your hands. So
yeah,
if you're paying that much attention and you're getting that emotionally triggered by what someone else is doing, like, come on, dude, like, go find a hobby, go
touch some grass.
I don't know. Yeah, touch some grass. Exactly. You have look. Me and my wife would tell this every time to each other. Like, you know those relationships where one person keeps tabs about what the other person does every day on social media. So like, if they like the post or if someone follow them, they like get into an argument because they're jealous, and that's the only thing that we can think of about that is like, dude, they have too much time on their hands. Like, they need to find something else to do, because if they have hours on end to keep like wasting on that sort of shit, imagine how well they would be if they spend that time on like self-improvement stuff or even just relaxing, you know? They would be less stressed out. They would be less I don't know. It's just, it seems to me like a waste of time to spend time looking at what I hate on other people.
Judging other people nonstop for no reason. It's like basically we're seeing in real time what comfort does to you when prolonged for so long. It's just, if there's no friction whatsoever, you try to make it up somehow and you look for trouble. This is not something you perhaps consciously want to do. It's just a natural instinct, to seek some friction somehow, to grow, to keep expanding, to keep improving. And, you're just doing it in the worst, least productive way possible, which is just complaining about shit that doesn't have anything to do with you. It's not going to change anything whatsoever. So I could be complaining right now, oh, Dom, why did you put those two little boats there in the distance? You should have put them on the right side. It doesn't matter, bro. It's not going to change anything. Look, there you go. What changed? Nothing. It's just the same thing. It's just
you should make them actual spaceships and put them on the sky right above the...
I was just gonna say that. Put them on the volcano, bro.
Yeah, exactly. They actually have... So you put some water, they're trying to like put out the fire of the volcano. So...
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
What I was trying to say is that it basically goes to show how well we have it. Despite all the lows and all the negative stuff and everything bad you can point out right now, we have it very, very well. Of course, we have other challenges in modern times, which is becoming quite a problem of abundance, even, right? The world is so unevenly distributed, and some places have too much and some places have too little, and both are problems. So you can now see how this lack of balance brings only this sort of despair in a way, and yeah, it's just about like becoming more self-aware of your own situation. Hey, wait a minute, I'm actually fine. I have no reasons to complain about this stuff, really. I don't really care where he puts those boats. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything for me, neither for him. So yeah, if I have anything to say, I guess I would try to give my best constructive criticism instead of just insulting you, or like, Dom, you look like you've been doing this for 3 months only, like it's not.
Have.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, bro, this one came out pretty well. You should consider a career in this. You're pretty good.
You have some talent, Dom.
Yeah. You
I'm
keep
sure
going.
it came naturally. I'm sure like you were born this way. So.
Yeah, you're talented, man.
No,
I wish I could do what
but
you do.
there's this idea that I try to make every interaction that I have to have a positive effect on whoever I'm interacting with. And that doesn't mean like being joyful and always saying like positive things or whatever. It comes back to like the criticism that we talked earlier on. Even if you have to criticize someone or give them some advice, like you try to be polite and you try to come from a place of understanding and like, I actually care about what you do. And if you come for me to advice, I'll try to give you the honest answer and not like protect you from the truth. But also, you try to make yourself a positive force in the world, which is why I don't quite get people that would just criticize other people like out of nowhere or unsolicited advice that might even be like the wrong advice. You see that on the gym quite a bit, actually. Like you see the people that are focusing on hypertrophy training when they see like any other person that focus on their own sport, like doing exercises that are considered different or weird or whatever. Like I see a lot of guys that do like martial arts training their necks, with those weird helmets and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And people make fun of those guys, right? Like, oh, look at what a weird exercise and whatever. But in my mind, I'm like, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do, Like that guy is actually doing the specific training for his sport, so he can be like a killer on the mat or whatever.
I've seen the guys doing wrestling and stuff also do those exercises with body weight only, like you lay on your back and you lift yourself with your head only. So it trains the back back of the neck muscles and stuff like that. But it just goes down, it comes down to just do your own thing, mind your own business, and work very hard. And that's it. And the rest will just come to happen on its own. If someone wants to know something from you, they will come ask you and they will reach out. The same way, if you want something from someone that is apparently way higher on this mountain you're climbing, you want to reach out to them and say, hey, how can I improve this? How can I improve that? And what we were seeing a long time ago was how people would reach out to you, a more experienced climber, right? And they would just start asking about things that are pretty irrelevant. Like, hey, which type of chalk should I use on my hands? And how much should I put on? And which brushes, bro? And which program? And it doesn't matter. How many hours a day are you practicing this? Oh, I'm thinking about starting next month.
2.
Oh, so you haven't even started yet. And you're out here asking me about which shorts to use for a run or which shoes to put on, or just go try, like experiment.
Hey, bro,
on your
take
own.
it easy. Take it easy. I was just asking.
Bro, I was just asking. Bro. Calm
look,
down.
And then they're just like,
the way that I say, I'm very clear when people ask stuff like, you are overthinking. Okay, just do the thing.
Absolutely.
And there's
all it
you
comes
guys
down
know Chris Williamson, right? From Modern Wisdom.
Modern.
He has that saying about like doing the thing. I don't remember exactly. It's like sort of a text that he's reading or he found somewhere. Look, my information might be wrong. Okay, I just remember the phrasing. It's like thinking about doing the thing is not doing the thing. Planning to do the thing is not doing the thing. And like it has multiple examples of that. And I try to remind myself of
from Alex Hormozy as well, because he was reading his tweets in one episode.
Exactly. It's the idea that when you are a beginner,
You're
you
in a
will
loop
overthink stuff.
inside of your mind.
Yeah. And look, it was great for me to read that as well, because I was in that place at some point, like in maybe even this year or recently, you get into the habit of like, oh, this is my job, so like I need to be at my desk doing my thing and whatever. And then I looked down, I had like a bunch of sketchbooks that are empty and a bunch of pens and whatever. So I started, like, I picked back up the habit of drawing every single day. And because I was in that mood of overthinking stuff, like, I need to use 3D, I need to do this optimum workflow. And then I look at myself like, dude, I don't. Like, if I want to get better at this, as we always do, right?
Yeah.
Is a non-stopping process, like ongoing stuff. So, okay, I don't have time to do all of the complex stuff. I'll use like these 5 minutes to get an idea out, and I'll stop overthinking. And I didn't need to ask anyone for that kind of advice, because I ended up noticing it myself. But when you are a beginner, maybe you do need to ask, but also trust on the advice that the person gives you. Like if they are telling you that you are overthinking about like the chalk that you need to use, it's maybe because you are.
Yeah.
It's maybe because they're because what these kind of people also do, they're like, I don't like this feedback, let me go to someone else to see if they give me the feedback that I'm comfortable with. And like, okay, why are you asking them?
That's true.
Yeah, because they keep looking for a shortcut or an easier way to do it. And then when they realize there's no easy way because everybody keeps telling them the same exact thing, somehow they still find a reason to discredit every single feedback they've been given. Like, no, all of them are wrong. There must be another way. I actually admire that, because sometimes it goes very well and it turns out they were all wrong and this guy really made a huge discovery. But usually it's just the other way around. It's like, bro, they've been doing this for way longer. That's how it works. You can choose and follow their advice, get started, and then maybe on your way there, you'll make that discovery somehow that, hey, they always train this way. Let me make a small adjustment here. I'll do it in a different way, in a small percentage. Where it takes me, and who knows? Like, it's not really a guidebook for any of this. Like, we're always saying this. There's no instructions manual for any of this. It's just up to you the way you want to do it. So maybe it saves you a bunch of time with those advice, that advice that you hear from other people. Like, hey, here's what I would do if I was starting over again in my career. This, and this. There's a lot of videos like that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say that even if you are someone that like will change the world and like will, I don't know, break the mold somehow, it's very useful to understand the structure of what's there already before you break that structure. So I was trying, while you were talking, I was trying to think of an example of someone that went like against the grain without any knowledge of how things worked and then change stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty rare. Like the guys that are innovative, they usually like study the current for their like where they are at in the world, like the most advanced stuff, and then they like implement their new ideas into it, and that's how things are changed. So like in our talking about making a parallel to art, right? The way that would happen is like, oh, you have a very distinctive style, but you understand at least the structure of the visual world or whatever, visual communication in general. We have like our own example here, right?
Yeah.
Dom has a very unique style. And I've seen pieces from Dom that looked like the traditional concept artist portfolio. That look, when I saw those, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you had this all the time? And it was like, yeah, but I want to do my own thing, and like so on. I've seen pieces from like when you were in school, I think, Dom, like the early years where it was like the traditional concept artist route. And I think that the only reason why, maybe not the only, but one of the reasons why like your stuff works really well, your style works really well, is because you understand the stuff that is behind it as well, right? So you were not the kind of guy that like have fundamental mistakes on your stuff and was just chalking that to, oh, this is my style, this is how I do things. You learned the traditional way, the proper way to do things.
Yeah, it's just observation, right? Like you can do all the studies you want, but if you're not constantly observing the things around you, like sometimes it won't be put into practice as well. Like just absorbing the surroundings around where you look and stuff. I think that's also important. That's how you get results faster too, I think.
Yeah, let's copy him, Andre, and steal his jobs.
I am actually copying his.
It can't be
methods,
that hard, right?
The idea of having the own style. I mean, you have yours, but the idea of pursuing your own style, it's something that I actually learned from you guys, because I was definitely the guy that like, oh, I'll fit into the mode and like do what people say is right, and that works to a certain extent.
Eventually you get unhappy.
You, like, jobs.
Yeah,
exactly. You get like not satisfied with your own work, and that's where I've fallen into after a while. And then you were like, oh crap, what is missing? What is that, the sauce that is like will make me happy again?
We all do that in the beginning, like we were mentioning in our latest episode, that we try everything in the beginning. You just want to fit in and somehow be accepted and look the same as everybody else, and you set up those standards for yourself, but feel so unnatural. Like this is not me. But anyway, it's Inktober again, so I got to do this 30-day sketch thing based on this list that they give online, and I don't want to do it, really. But it's good for exposure, I guess, because you got to post on Instagram, right? So you can make yourself a name out there and people see your work. But if you're not really enjoying it, if you're not really having fun with it, which is kind of contradictory in our own discourse here, because we're always preaching this thing of like getting out of your comfort zone and doing things you're not really comfortable with. But this is an entirely different thing. I can see why it seems confusing to people. Because, Adrian, sometimes you're saying to get out of our comfort zone. Now you're saying, oh, you have to have fun with it.
I think the pursuit of your own style and the pursuit of you having a message on your art that is actually true and is actually what you want to convey is not comfortable at all.
Not at all, exactly.
Because you need like to look deep within yourself and actually
you have to
kind of expose yourself in a way.
Face your own demons in a way.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, style is just the result of a sequence of you perpetually copying yourself, plagiarizing yourself from the past. You make a piece, and the next one you do, it's basically just the last one but improved, and the last one but improved, and you keep getting that done over and over until you get to a point where, just like Dom did, you were mentioning how his old work doesn't look anything at all like what he does now, because there's this progression that he went through to explore this sort of inner voice that we all have about what we want to do, the way we want to paint it. Of course, we all have idols. I always say this. We always have references and stuff like that, artists we admire. And in the beginning, you might be even subconsciously emulating them a little too much. And it would just, it reads that will on your work. Oh, Feng Zhu, right?
It forces you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, Feng Zhu. Yeah, I like Feng Zhu. Yeah, I can tell. Your work is just like his. And eventually you steer away because you saw, I don't know, any other artist, okay, that you might like. And you start implementing some stuff like that. Until one day, it blends in so much, everything together, that you can no longer tell exactly. So you end up becoming Dom Lay. This is Dom Lay style, This is Andre style. This is Adrian style. So, yeah. Some people are closer to it, some people are a little farther away from it, but eventually we'll all get there if we keep going and exploring and just keep practicing.
Oh, yeah.
I think this will do it, guys. We covered so many different topics.
Yeah.
I think I'm almost finished with this, too.
Nice work, too, Dom.
So we finished.
That's a really dope painting, bro.
Yeah, I really like it. I really like the energy of the volcano. You know?
Yeah.
I literally just use this.
It's
Well,
I mean, I don't know what this is. It's like a cloud, or I think it's a cloud.
yeah.
It's not a volcano, but I turned it into a volcano.
But this is just an example of how
Exploded off the top.
you can change a reference into something that it's not, so you can use it for your own purposes. You use the
and I do
cloud
like
at sunset to depict an erupting volcano.
Yeah, and like the storytelling of the guys going there on boats for whatever reason, just because they're completely insane. You know, like it's
Trying to get
actually
away from
erupting
this
right
place.
now.
I thought they were getting away from it somehow.
No, dude, they are going to face the volcano. This
Damn,
is
it's erupting.
a
Let's
rite
go,
of
boys.
passage. This is a rite of passage.
I should
This
turn the
volcano,
boat more towards it.
This volcano
Yeah.
actually erupts like every 6 years, and that's when they do like the rite of passage. You know,
Yeah. I felt
They
like
become,
it was their alarm clock. Like, come on, guys, time to work. And they work at the volcano there.
Hey, maybe it's a
they're
sign.
lava gatherers. You know, that's
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a nice color accent. I really like this piece. Also, the soft lighting from the dim sky at sunset, I guess. Yeah, really cool one.
That's good.
You know what's cool?
Thanks,
That you
guys.
it took you 70 minutes to make this piece.
Yeah,
And people will
and I
see
hate you
this.
for it, dude.
Because people will see it and think, oh, damn, so this is how
It's-
fast I have
I
to
have-
be, right?
Well, I have to be this fast for class because they kind of expect me to, they expect to see sort of like a full result. So I'm not really timing myself. It's just like an instinct of like, okay, we gotta go.
But this is one of those things that distorts that perception of
Yeah.
what's needed, to make it into the
Oh, you
industry
gotta do
and stuff.
speed paints.
Yeah.
You gotta paint in 30 minutes. Like,
I mean, that's why I chose to teach a design class, because I know for sure that I won't be finished with my design in like one single class.
Nice.
It's way easier, you just keep saying like, oh, it's a process, it takes time, and then you do a little bit
you
each
always
class.
repeat the same thing. Yeah. The students, it's like, yeah, you'll get there. Yeah, it's just a process. Just enjoy the journey. But they never seem to understand it till like they're matured.
All it takes is more mileage and conscious observation and decision-making processes, understanding yourself, knowing exactly what's on your mind, what you want. Because a lot of people are kind of lost. Like, I don't really know what I want to focus on. I like a little bit of everything. And I'm not only talking about characters, environments. It's also not only 2D, it's also 3D. Yeah, I like a little bit of 3D too. So it's a matter of exploration, self-exploration as well. Like, okay, if you were to do this 8 hours every day, like, what would you choose it to be? So, yeah. Thank you guys for watching, I guess.
Yeah.
Subscribe, comment down below your opinions. If we make another video about your comments, you know you made it. So anyway,
Let us know your
it's
thoughts.
good to be back, guys.
Yeah, this was really cool. Dom, I don't know what else you're doing to the piece. I thought it was over already. Like, it looks pretty much finished a while ago
There
already.
you go.
But
I
it's
just
amazing.
Put some characters on the side. There you go.
Yeah, it looks really,
All right.
really cool.
Come on, dude, it's the deadline. It's coming.
Can you speed
We
up?
need to present
please?
this.
What I'm feeling.
Yeah, the presentation is coming up, bro.
Get this by lunch.
Yeah.
All right. All right,
Thank you so
guys.
much, guys. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you guys.